This is not good for life expectancy, right?
This is certainly true. People have pointed this out. I think, out of all the things I do that are probably not good for me, that's the one. I don't get enough sleep.
Don't get enough sleep, and you like the booze, fella.
Well, that may be good for me. You never know.
Really?
Well, at least, in moderation, like they say.
In moderation, yeah. Well, we're drinking it right now. Got a little Jack Daniels. Is that supposed to be good for colds? Is that a myth?
It's working for me.
Okay. It does work for you? Really? It helps you?
It certainly does.
Whatever makes you feel better. And for folks who's going, what's wrong with his voice? He's suffering from a bit of a cold right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he's drinking the whiskey. I don't know how it works that way. Do you think that diet at all plays a part in this? Do you recommend a specific diet to people to enhance their body's ability to repair itself?
I don't really do that. First, for two reasons. First of all, with regard to diet, and indeed more generally, lifestyle, anything that people can do today, I definitely take the view that there are plenty of other people who know more about it than me, and therefore, if I also became an expert in this area, I really wouldn't be making as much difference as I am making by spending my time in this other way. Second thing, however, is that, and this is rather depressing, but it's rather an important thing to mention, that as far as we can tell, the overwhelming evidence is that none of these things make very much difference to most people.
So the things like getting good sleep, getting good diet, they're really essentially only going to go so far.
They're only going to go a very small amount. That's right.
So we'll live an extra 10 years or something like that.
Even 10 is, I think, an overstatement. I think we're talking more like 1 or 2 if you're lucky.
Whoa, 1 or 2. So you booze it up, folks.
Well, you heard it, folks. Booze it up. Your lifestyle choices don't have anything to do with your aging. And hey, that's coming from an anti-aging specialist. How many times have I said that our so-called experts are not our experts? Not in nutrition and not in medicine. I've said this thousands of times. The most important piece of this scientific equipment is sick, the scientist himself. They have no idea what causes disease, and they have no idea how to prevent it. I like the way Aubrey uses the Ford example of planned obsolescence, where they plan things to fall apart, so you have to come back and buy a new car. These cars are only supposed to last 10 years, but if you have maintenance, you can make it last 100 years. So this is Aubrey's approach. Yes, we accumulate damage. I agree with Aubrey there, we do. But where he's wrong and dead wrong is it's not from normal operations. It's from putting the wrong fuel in the vehicle. And he's totally clueless, and he admits to this. He says, well, when asked whether or not diet had an effect, I have 2 reasons. First, I admit I'm ignorant. Other people know more than me. And my time is better off playing with the art, dealing with the damage. I agree, we need people to do that. But not when we ignore the science, not when we ignore those lifestyle factors. How can you call yourself an anti-aging specialist and not study the lifestyle factors that affect us? Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And then he has the audacity to repeat the same bullshit we hear over and over and over. Oh, it doesn't make any difference. You might live a year or 2. How many times have I heard that crap? We're not talking about 1 or 2 years difference. We're talking about decades, not just 10, maybe 20, 30 years difference. And it's not the quantity of life, it's the quality of life. We have no quality of life the way we are now. And what does this clown do? The overwhelming evidence, you mean the overwhelming propaganda and ignorance through your part and everyone else's, that you can't compare 2 bad diets and go, look, the Japanese are living 4 years longer than Americans. It doesn't make a difference. You fool. 1 bad diet, you don't compare a bad diet to another bad diet. You compare it to our ideal diet, realizing we don't live in an ideal world anymore, and we have another group of needs because we've damaged ourselves. You're right, we have damaged ourselves. And everything we do affects us, and those effects accumulate and are reflected in the condition of our 4 current status factors, especially the condition of our body. So yes, we do accumulate damage. You're right, Aubrey. But there's nothing normal about putting the wrong fuel in a vehicle and it knocks and pings, and you say, well, I'll just keep doing maintenance. Here, let's do some maintenance. You hear the same crap all over the place, don't you? The cure is just around the corner. 10 years we'll have stem cell therapy to heal Parkinson's disease. Forget what's causing the damage. Let's just repair it. There's a reason why we still continue to suffer. We can't trust our so-called experts. I've mentioned before, when you look at nutrition, there's 3 cycles of food: consumption, absorption, elimination. They don't study the elimination cycle in food. So the nutritionists don't see that piece of the puzzle. As a result, we end up having a slow, stagnant cesspool instead of a fast-moving sewage system. The serpent that lives within us, according to Victor Hugo. And then doctors, our body's nothing but a bunch of cells, 2 fluids, blood and lymph. They don't study the lymph. They don't study the bathroom. See the connection there? So, what does Aubrey say? Well, there's other people who know more about this, but if I was to be an expert, I'd be using my time better doing this. Hey, you don't know. You're ignorant. You don't have any idea of what the real truth about nutrition is. And the problem that we all have is that we rely on our so-called experts. Look, we already got experts in nutrition. Look, they don't have any answers. Look at the experts in medicine. They don't have any answers. None of them have any answers. The answers aren't inside the box. These fools are put inside a box, and you can't get out of the box unless you think outside the box. And Aubrey, you're not thinking outside the box. And I know why. Yeah, I used to be a college professor, and now you're getting all these millions of dollars to do research. And can only imagine how much money you're making now. You probably supervise a few other scientists and probably make $1 million a year and spend a couple hours a week supervising these guys in the hopes that we're going to find some magic bullet to repair tissue. I have no problem with doing research that will help us continue to repair the damage we've done. I've said this over and over and over before. There's the art and there's the science, or there's the science and there's the art. Got to go upstream, get reconnected, satisfy those needs. Aubrey's not doing that. Got to deal with the damage. But you know what repairs damage? Simple fruits and vegetables, nutrient-dense foods, the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytochemicals, the antioxidants. We know these cleanse cells and repair DNA damage. Can we do more than that? Yes. But don't get delusional. Aging is not accumulating damage from normal activities. It's damage from abnormal activities. We're making mistakes. Take responsibility. My God, this guy has a cold and he doesn't even know. We eat a cold. We drink a cold. We don't catch a cold. And this guy is totally clueless. Like they're all clueless. Our experts are clueless. Don't put your trust and faith in doctors and our so-called experts. They're not our experts. They're intentionally misdirected by the sickest of us for the ultimate goal to keep us sick. That's why everything in our society of any significance has everything to do with our health or lack of health. That's why they're not our experts. That's why we have anti-aging specialists telling us stupid things like nutrition and sleep doesn't affect anything, maybe a year or 2. Oh, poppycock. Man, take a solid food vacation, Aubrey. I dare you. I challenge you. See if you have another cold. Eat the right food. See if you have another cold. I haven't had a cold in over 30 years. Not sleeping enough, that's going to cause problems, and I can relate to that. That happens to me quite often. Happens to a lot of us who are really passionate about helping others. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if you're really passionate or you're just part of that controlled opposition, keeping us distracted, making us think the cure's around the corner, repeating the garbage we've already believed. See, this is the problem. I say it over and over. Our brains have been bombarded by bullshit. Too many references that support the same bullshit. Aubrey just did it. He gave you another reference. See, an anti-aging specialist just told us, doesn't make any difference, only a year or 2. Look at the Japanese, only living 4 years longer, see? They're all eating cooked food, you fools. You've been tricked, you've been fooled, you've been deceived, you've been bamboozled. And there's only one way to figure that out. You've got to be the change you wish to see. You got to have a brand new reference. You got to take a solid food vacation so you can understand what you're missing. Most of us don't know we're making 5 main mistakes. Most of us don't know what we're missing. And most of us don't think it's going to be a fair trade. Only a year or 2 to give up what I love? Oh, that's not a fair trade. Well, how about a couple of decades? And how about a quality of life? How about not falling apart like most of us do? In this country, the average age is somewhere in the mid-70s, and the last 10 years or so of our life are miserable. Miserable. There's no quality of life whatsoever. And don't think stem cell therapy is going to come along and save the day and repair damage while you keep making mistakes. We reap what we sow. We got to stop sowing the crap we got. How do we start? It's simple. Take a solid food vacation, and you know when you do, my friends, you're in for a treat.